After a poor performance against Feyenoord, Benfica needed to answer, and answer they did. Or did they? 8 goals in 2 games. That and much more in another night, another podcast.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero um manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estádio e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumacic, coming to you every week, sometimes on Tuesdays, sometimes on Wednesdays, and it looks like it's going to be Wednesdays for a bit while Benfica plays Champions League and plays any other competition, so we always like to get 2 games to talk about. But we'll get into that in a minute. With me tonight, as always, Cristiano Oliveira. Como é que é, Cristiano?
Hey, Fumacas. What's going on, Fumacas? What's going on, guys? Dave, Freddy's in the chat. Smash the like button. Alfredinho, throwing these guys off, right? Throwing them off. Tuesdays, Wednesdays. We look like Di Maria. Não sabes if we coming, if we going, a little magia. That's what we do here on the Benfica podcast.
That's right. That's right. Also with us, Dave de Oliveira, Mr. Statsman himself. What's happening, Dave?
What's going on, guys? Good to be back. You guys saying sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Reminded me of Gattuso there in his presser, but all good things in Benfica land this week here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So here we are, episode 539. We're gonna bullshit a little bit while we let the Freddies come in. Manuel de Cunha, good evening, guys. Hope you're doing well, Manuel. Hope you're doing well. And Diogo Reis, what's happening?
I'm gonna put on my iPod and listen to Fat Joe while you guys.
Yeah, we were
time away for Freddy's.
Yeah, we were talking about the World Series, obviously, and it's just gonna be a little bit of a filler talk, right? So watching the World Series open in L.A. and who do they got? They got Ice Cube singing one of the hits, California. And then the series switches to New York, and who do they have? Instead of having like some star power like Alicia Keys and Jay-Z singing New York, they got Fat Joe, who isn't even singing.
I mean, give me Billy Joel, give me, I don't know, Lady
Bruce
Gaga,
Springsteen
from New York or something like that. You're going to get Bruce Springsteen's jersey down.
That's true.
You
That's
don't
true.
bring me Fat Joe, who has been out of style. I don't know, guys, as it has been, bro, since like 1999 or some shit. It's been a long time, even though he goes to Red Bulls games a lot. He's a big Red Bulls fan. Either that or the buffet. I don't know, one or the other. But yeah, I was shocked to see him at the end game. Let's touch back here. Baseball is a phenomenal sport, but we're here to talk about Benfica. Alfredo, we don't want the Freddies to run away.
Yeah, that's right.
The Freddies are not coming. They're used to Tuesday nights.
They're
not coming. Let's just get the show on the road.
Yeah, true that. So on tonight's menu, we'll recap the Rio Ave game, which happened over the weekend. Then Santa Clara for the League Cup, a game that gives you access to the Final Four. Again, they changed the format. Now, the team. I think they. I don't even know. I didn't even bother looking because I think it's such a nonsense. So you win this game and you're automatically in the Final Four. Sporting has already won.
And Leiria. Road to Leiria, don't forget.
Going to Leiria. The road to Leiria, like it's some kind of
like
Mecca.
a half hour away and some shit. like you're driving to Dubai.
Like
road
it's
to Leiria.
Some kind of football Mecca, Leiria.
Don't give them any ideas. They'll put this tournament in Dubai in no time.
Hey, soon,
right. They'll have about as much attendance there as they do in Leiria, bro.
Yeah, Dubai or the United States somewhere or France.
They get it filled up here. The only thing is that it would be our cold winters over here. You'd have to put it somewhere warmer, but
Miami, that's warm.
Miami,
But there ain't chops.
might
There
be-
ain't a lot of chops. You
There's
gotta
no
put it
chops
in.
there.
That's true.
You know what? There's a lot of Portuguese people in Miami, though. Believe it or not.
Yeah, they might-
Listen, they're not as much as Brazilians, but there's plenty of chops all over the world. I think the Massachusetts area is the way to go, because then you still get the Canadians, eh?
Yeah,
You know, they
Yeah.
come through, but it's like you said, it's free, bro. These guys, imagine these guys playing in the snow.
yeah. Now, I mean, California wouldn't be a bad spot. I don't think Northern California. There's a lot of Portuguese in Northern
Yeah,
California.
there's a lot. Yeah, but they're all Surianos, right?
They're still
Watch
Portuguese, dude.
Watch
No,
out.
I don't mean
Careful, careful.
That's why I quit. That's why I quit halfway. I said, "Oh, I just quit."
Pull the emergency
Regardless
brake.
of what I'm gonna say, yeah, forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
what were you gonna say?
I like to think they want to open it to a broader range. You know, to a range.
Broader
You know what
audience.
I mean? More. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's it. They want to go to a broader crowd. That's it. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to say.
Brian Peters is saying it was 80 in Philly today. Yeah, it was nice. It was 70s in Jersey
It was
too.
80 in dirty Jersey as well, Brian Peters.
It was nice.
But this is not January.
Yeah.
January,
when is
forget
the Final Four, Dave? Do you know?
January, February.
20 something.
Yeah,
No,
you're
January
right.
20 something around.
Oh, yeah.
Last year was like the 25th, I believe, or something like that. So if they're sticking to that schedule, it'll be roughly around the same time.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Freddy's Kevin, Brian Peters. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's get right into it. Benfica played the Rio Ave Estádio Luz. Trubin was in goal, Ba, Araújo, Otamendi, Carreiras, Auschwitz, and Kokshu. Di Maria best on the wings. Artur Koglu behind Pavlidis. So no Tinu here, and my observation or my read on it is that Laj did his homework. And understanding that this Rio Ave team is not the best team, doesn't have the midfields that they used to have with Guga and other guys. You don't really need a Tinu. Why do you need a defensive guy when you have Auschwitz and you have Kokshu that could do the job well? So good choice there by
Yeah, very, very impressed.
Elijah.
Alfred. He decided to go offensive in the game at home, knowing that Benfica was going to have the ball for the majority of the time. Very well done by Laj. You know what? In his second time around, with the exception of that Feyenoord game, he's getting a lot of these things right. So even from the onset, I love the decision. I know Dave texted me on WhatsApp, and he said he liked it as well. He likes when Benfica goes offensive. And look, it worked out. Credit to him.
Yeah.
Credit to everybody that witnessed it and realized that. So, hey, as long as they keep the goals coming and these attractive lineups, I said it's fun time.
Yeah, Artur Koglu behind the Pavlidis, and Artur Koglu with the hat trick in the first half, 12th minute, 1-0 with an assisted, 16th minute, 2-0 off of a Di Maria feed, and in the 45 plus, the 3-0, also unassisted by Artur Koglu, who is really, Dave, has caught fire, right? I think he's scored in every single domestic or league game. At Stadio Luz. He didn't score
Going
today.
going into today's match, he had scored on every single match at the Stadio de Luz in all competitions, but that was broken today. But yeah, my Turkish Rafa is just putting up the goals he's on for career.
I don't know, man. I can't call him Turkish Rafa because as me and Hugo say, we talk about this all the time. He's 1,000 times better than Rafa for a goal. So I don't even call him Rafa no more.
I agree.
We can't
with that.
even disrespect him that way.
I think Rafa probably a better player, got involved more, but this guy is definitely 10 times the clinical finisher that Rafa is.
And on both sides of the ball also. He's very good defensively. He's very good defensively.
Yeah. But he's just it's his finishing ability.
Yeah.
It's that goal that he gets to with the head. It's just a phenomenal performance in that first half. That was all his. And, you know, again, not to knock Rafa, right? Because Rafa had his moments at Benfica, and we talked about it on the podcast. When the dude was on, he was unplayable, arguably the best player in the league every time he was on for those 2-3 months. The thing is that this guy, finishing-wise, that is there for Rafa. You know what I mean? So it's time to put this guy in a whole new pedestal as far as finishing. He's at the right place at the right time. Might not do much, but he finds himself in those positions where salta aqui, salta ali, and ting, 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 goal. You know what I mean? The guy just knows how to position himself
Yeah.
perfectly on the pitch, and it's been phenomenal. That's why, going back to your initial point, Alfredo, with the whole taking out of Tino, taking out the defensive center midfielder, which you really didn't need, and adding another player to the attack, and then him being able to be, that player with freedom to play behind the striker. And look at that. He transformed a phenomenal performance in that first half. So credit to him, credit to Lodge, credit to everybody for Jesus, the Yankees give up a stupid run. Credit for everybody for coming through. That just threw me off, man. Come on.
Dave, I guess I could ask you, Dave. 12 million that we paid for Turkoglu, bargain?
Bargain, but I'm not liking that. What is it? 60 million release clause.
You think it's too low?
I feel like some sharks might take that opportunity at the end of the year, especially if he's on
That's all it is?
this pace.
That's all it is?
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
He's 26 years old.
When they signed 60.
Oh, yeah, okay. I understood 15. That's all I was like, what?
He's 26,
No.
26 years old, so I don't know if you want that high of a clause, or if he's even going to agree for that high of a clause. But yeah, I'd say at this point, and what he's been able to produce, bargain for sure.
For sure. And we you guys mentioned Rafa there. We got on a tear there with Besiktas, but since August, only one goal there. Before that, he had like 4 or 5 goals. The cold weather comes and he goes away. So
he goes into
much
hibernation.
rather use Artuklu in this lineup here.
Rafa goes into hibernation.
Yeah.
Yep. So a good half by Benfica against a very weak Rio Ave team. Arturkoglu with the hat trick, as I mentioned, quite frankly, I can't remember watching a game this relaxed. It just felt like Benfica was in control. Rio Ave didn't seem to do much, and then Laj was able to get some folks in. 63rd minute, Cabral in for Pavlidis, Amdouni in for Arturkoglu. 77th minute, Renato Sanchez in for Auschner, Sheldrup in for Di Maria. Then Sheldrup and Amdouni would get on a scoreboard with Benfica's 4th and 5th goal in the 79th and 81st minute. And then we had the last 82nd minute substitution, Cabaret for Ba. Very comfortable game. Dave.
I miss, Alfredo?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave. You know what I miss, Alfredo? When you went by over the key moments of the game, you just skipped the whole game. We don't even talk about finishes. We don't talk about the Pizão in the 3rd minute. That is a clear red card, as clear as I've seen in Portugal. Last year, first game of the season, Pedro Musa gets a step, which was not even anywhere near this Pizão, gets a red card. We've seen Tarap. We've seen other players in previous years get straight reds for Benfica. Yet, when it happens to Benfica players, everything is in play. Everything is fair game. I thought that was a terrible decision by the referee. Benfica needs to start protesting these things because, as we've seen, our main opponents, they get these calls in favor, and that's a huge difference. Obviously, Benfica didn't need it to win the game, but nonetheless, man, these things cannot be allowed to continue against this club. The club needs to speak up. This is absolute bullocks. I don't care if it's in the 3rd minute or the 93rd minute. That is a Pizão. That is a straight red card anywhere in the world.
I didn't write it on my notes, Cristiano. I'm glad you wrote it on yours. But you're right.
I got a big list of notes here.
I did. I did miss writing that, but I do remember and watching it live, and I know that people all complained after the game that would have been a red card. Even I think that there's that ex-referee that does the evaluation of the referee's performance on a bola. I think he even said that was a red. But imagine a red in the 3rd minute. How much Porto and Sporting and other teams would be crying about that. But they get those calls all the time, and we get those calls against us, as Cristiano mentioned with Musa last year at Boavista. But it is what it is. It's always up to the referee's interpretation. But at that point, I think that VAR should have called him. Hey, there's something.
Yeah, that was
Is a little too
blatant.
high.
I can't believe that was blatant. I can't believe that nobody was called. I mean, I don't understand how that goes unpenalized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't understand. That should have been a straight red. But
Yeah.
El Tugão. If it
And-
was the other way around, sure as hell you'll get it.
Yeah, and once if it's a step on your foot, I mean I can understand that because you play with your feet, but I mean higher than your ankle, which that's what it was. I mean that's the VAR needs to call the referee to the monitor for that. So yeah, thanks Cristiano for mentioning that. But look, yeah, after the game against Feyenoord, which Laj said that the team underperformed and they weren't competent enough to win that game. I thought the team showed themselves at a good level, but this Rio Ave team is not the Rio Ave team from the past couple seasons that Cristiano has praised their coach Luis Freire, has praised their style. Even last year they played very good ball. And this year, that not that great. I don't know if they're missing some key pieces or if they lost some folks, some players, but certainly not the Rio Ave that we're accustomed to. And it was an easy game. I don't know, Dave. I think that was probably one of the more relaxing games that I have witnessed in a long time from Benfica.
Relaxing and also refreshing to see a competent manager, utilizing the bench properly. Like we've got the game wrapped up.
Wait, did you just say Benfica and competent manager in the same sentence?
I did. It's been a couple of seasons since we've been able to say that, but you see what Lage is doing with the bench and with the squad as a whole. 68th minute, game's wrapped up. Time to utilize some of these bench players and get them integrated into the squad. Like you got Best now, who's been in the starting 11 now the last couple of games. He was integrated into the squad first, coming off the bench. He's kind of earned a spot in the starting 11. Now he's using other guys to in that same role, like a Sheldrup, Abduni as well. They're still far off from securing a spot in the starting 11, but you got to start somewhere, right? And what did we see with Roger Schmidt? It was always 80 plus. Get these guys 2 minutes of run, and how are you supposed to build any confidence with these players? How are you supposed to build any form? And so tip of the cap to Lage, what he's doing with the bench and with the squad here.
Yeah, even Renato Sanchez, who's coming off injury and is still working to get into game form. 13 minutes, it's not bad. You played another 45 minutes today, but when you have 5 substitutions and the game is out of hand, in a good sense, right? At the half, I mean, you got to think about, how am I going to rotate the squad? How am I going to give some guys some burn so they continue to be motivated and they continue to be part of this squad in terms of their mental commitment? And I think that Lage does a good job. Now, whether or not those guys are taking advantage of those opportunities is a different situation, but obviously, by getting those that playing time, nobody's really saying, "Hey, I'm not getting any playing time. What's going on?" Even Cabral must be happy with the playing time he's been getting under Lage. He played against Pavilion, played today. Pois, também digo, mas, it's a way of keeping guys in there and motivated. And guys are working hard during the week. They deserve to get a break here and there. And I think, as I mentioned, when you have 5 substitutions, you got a lot of things that you could do. You got a lot of pieces that you can move. And, especially when the game is not that close and you're able to rotate the squad. So it was good. It's good. Another 3 points for Benfica at Estádio da Luz. Another good performance and a good attendance, good crowd at Deluxe. Turning our attention now to today's game, the Taça da Liga game, where Benfica played Santa Clara. I'll give you the lineup. Truin was in goal, Ba, Antoni Silva, Otamendi and Carreras, Auschnes and Renato Sanches, Amdouni and Best were on the wings. Artur Koglu behind Cabral. So a little bit of a rotation here. Silva coming in. We hadn't seen Silva start in a while. Did he start? He started against Paviling, if I'm not mistaken, right, Dave? And Renato Sanches.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, at this point, understanding that Renato Sanches has only returned to training maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. He may not even go the whole 90. He played the 45 minutes. And the first half was really a very... Benfica started well, but then Santa Clara adjusted things, and it was kind of like a boring first half. And Lage had to go to the bench. I don't have many more details in terms of the first half. I don't know if you guys wanted to mention anything that happened in the first half, but really the substitutions at the halftime with Kokshu coming in for Renato Sanches and Di Maria coming in for Amdouni was what made the difference. 67th minute, Pavlidis comes in for Best. So I think it's under Lage's first time that we've seen Benfica play with two natural forwards, I should say, in the lineup. I don't recall having that yet, so it was interesting to see. And then we had that volley by Di Maria in the 71st minute off of an assist of Pavlidis. And then 76th minute, 2-0, Pavlidis off of a Carreras cross, Pavlidis with the header. Sheldrup came in, 80th minute, 3-0, Pavlidis with his second goal. There's been a lot of talk about in terms of Pavlidis, and people are starting to, lose their patience with Pavlidis because he's supposed to be our number one goal scorer or number one forward. Scored 30-something goals, if I'm not mistaken, for AZ Alkmaar last season in the Dutch league. And so far, aside from the fast start that he had in the preseason where you scored almost in every goal, but it is preseason, so take it with a grain of salt. We haven't really seen Pavlidis get on a score sheet much. As a matter of fact, there's been some moments where people have been a little bit frustrated with him, with some of the misses, which sometimes a little bit of a trapalhão. But I'm glad he got on
I'm one of those guys,
and
I defended him last week on my little substitution role last week, 15-minute appearance. But I mean, he's got to start showing a little bit more, man.
Yeah,
and it's just this. It hasn't been good. Hasn't been good enough, I should say. He got on the score sheet today. Hopefully, this builds some confidence. Same thing with the last game with what's his name, Sheldrup, getting on the score sheet. Hopefully, this relieves some of that weight off their shoulders and the pressure that these guys have on themselves. And hopefully, it's a confidence builder. But that being said, we need to see a little bit more. Look, Benfica's winning these games, and they're doing enough. They're doing what they have to do, which is a lot better than what we had, last season and in previous seasons, right? But that being said, these guys want to complain about playing time, want to, be considered real options off the bench. They have to take advantage of their opportunities.
Yeah.
Cabral didn't do much. You know what I mean? It's just we need these guys to start creating. We need these guys, even if you're not scoring, but be dangerous. And it's just not happening. I don't understand what's going on with Benfica. As I mentioned on the last podcast, I believe it was the last one. We bought 4 or 5 guys for 20 million plus or whatever it is over the last 4 or 5 years, and we can't seem to nail one of these down.
Yeah.
We can't seem to get one right.
Yeah.
At the same time, these guys need to perform and need to create, and the few chances that they get, they need to make sure that ball's in the back of the net. Pavlidis did that today. But again, I thought on Saturday, so muitas ocasiões, and it's just, look, it's good that these guys are going through the struggles while we're winning.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot worse if they were losing. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But again, they need to start carrying their own weight. You know what I'm saying? They need
Yeah.
to start performing
Yeah.
to the expectations that we all had.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about Pavlidis is that the alternative to Pavlidis doesn't really inspire me confidence either. I mean, Cabral is Cabral, and we know what Cabral is capable of, but he's not a number one forward by my standards, at least. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but considering that Pavlidis having some struggles in front of goal, the alternative is not much better, and that to me that worries me. That worries me. Dave, what are your thoughts?
I could see where you're saying about that, but then it's still kind of early. You got to get Pavlidis gets on the score sheet today. Hopefully that builds some confidence for him going forward. Because I agree with you, Chris. On Saturday, it was Saturday, right? That where we had
Sunday,
Arkabu.
no?
Sunday. I'm getting all confused here, but he was held off the score sheet,
and he had chances. He had plenty,
and that's what it was.
He
had chances. Yeah. The team was trying to force it to him, and just things were not going his way on the weekend. But then you see he comes off the bench today, and 2 goals and an assist, right? And hopefully it just can inspire some confidence with him, because with these strikers, confidence is just a huge part of it. So let's see what he can do. It's not like he has somebody nipping at his heels, so that can be a positive for him, not necessarily a positive for us that we don't have many options off the bench. But I still think he's got a long leash at that position there.
Yeah, Diogo Reis is asking about what happened to Prestiani. He came back from international duty with an ankle injury. That's the last I heard about Prestiani.
He'll be out for a little while.
Yeah, so I don't know how serious it is, but yeah, ankle injury. Those could be nagging.
Messi stepped on him while they were taking a picture together.
No, dude.
So he could be taller than him.
That's a good one. Yeah, but yeah. So as they've mentioned, hopefully today with today's goals, but you could see even against Rio Ave, and Dave, I forgot to ask you about the stats about Rio Ave. I don't know if you have anything relevant.
It's fine.
But even against Rio Ave, you could see that the players were forcing balls, trying to feed Pavlidis, and still he couldn't get it. And everybody knows that he's going through that moment of he's going through a little bit of a slump, and they just want to get him goals. And I'm sure that he was pretty happy to get on the scoreboard, regardless of Taça de Liga. But still, Santa Clara is a worthy opponent. I think Santa Clara is what, in 4th, 5th, Dave, if I'm not mistaken.
They're right behind us.
Yeah.
Don't talk bad about Santa Clara. Be careful.
How's their pitch handling looking these days, Chris?
In the sun, beautiful.
Yeah, no, Santa Clara it's got a nice little team. But yeah, so it was a good win, but the solutions or the answers were off the bench, and rightly so. Lage didn't wait too long to make the moves that he needed to make, and right at the half, as I mentioned, Kokshu and Di Maria were in, and as somebody mentioned here, what a goal by Di Maria, and look, I think that sometimes people
phenomenal finish.
Yeah, people get a little bit frustrated with Di Maria, but look, there's moments of world class with Di Maria that you just can't deny, that is above any other player in the Portuguese league when he has those moments, and they're far in between now, right, because of his age, but certainly when you see things like that not every player can execute and has the technique that Di Maria has, and it's always a pleasure to be able to see him execute like that, and especially when it ends up in a goal. So now we're in the Final Four. Road to Leiria. And as Dave mentioned, so that happens in January. I think Sporting's already in there. They beat who they beat Portimonense.
They beat Nacional.
They beat Nacional. I think I don't know who the other pairings are. I'm guessing Porto and Braga are playing two other teams that I don't know. Dave, you mind looking it up?
Braga, Guimarães, and Porto, Moreirense tomorrow.
Moreirense. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So most likely it's going to be. And then do they draw for the final four, or are those pairings already set?
They draw. I don't believe they've been. Yeah, it's still draw to be taking place.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the hot baller.
The hot ballish. There's not going to be many, Chris. There's only going to be 2 ballish. 2 ballers on each pot. I don't know. Or, I don't know. 4 ballish.
But yeah, Di Maria, look, this is beginning of the season. A lot of people were crying to start Schaldrup and start this and start that. And Di Maria, what's he doing? But the guy is a difference maker. The guy can... And again, I'm not just saying this after today's goal, because as you guys know, I've said this all along. Players like him don't come around very often, and especially not at Benfica, right? These guys don't come to Portugal at that age. They just take the high road, get the big money, and just never come back, right? We get these guys, these types of players, which is very few of them in Portugal, for 2-3 years tops, and that's already saying tops. So to have this type of player at Benfica wanting to be here when he could be elsewhere making boatloads of money, right? He has the ability to finish the game with the pass, with the shot, and that's why the coaches have a hard time taking him out of the pitch, especially when the games are tight. And in today's prime example, out of nothing, scored a bomba. What a beautiful volley, what a beautiful finish. And these players are special. That's why they get paid the big money. And it's, as Hugo's saying here on the chat, it's a privilege to have a guy such as Di Maria. And I think, as I've told you in private, I think Benfiquistas need to do better and be better with a player such as Di Maria, because it sends a message to the rest of the world and the rest of the players playing throughout the world, big-time players, that, hey, man, look, they treat players well at that age, and why not go to a club that's in a beautiful city, beautiful weather, plays in the Champions League, right? This is an example to be followed. But you can't just shit on them and expect to be having all these. And again, this is the biggest argument I've had on this podcast since I started way back in 1903, which is everybody crying and begging to play kids out of the Seychelles, assuming they're better than everybody else. Again, if there was a Di Maria Seychelles, ladies and gentlemen, he wouldn't be at Benfica anymore. You know what I'm saying? They would have sold his ass already. So look, enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
Special player. And that goal today is one of those highlight goals that you're gonna remember for a while. So
and let's not forget that the biggest difference between this year and last year is that Di Maria is being managed properly, right? So you didn't need to start today, right? So you still got 45 minutes, and then we're also seeing him being pulled in games in 63rd, 65th, 70th minute. Not in the 85th minute or playing the whole game when the guy's gassed out. So I think the difference between this year and last year is that he's being better managed. And look, as the guy grows older, and those brilliant moments are going to decrease. They're going to be less and less. But nonetheless, he's still a guy that attracts a lot of attention. And people always need to know where Di Maria is, because at any moment that you can make a difference, and that's the difference.
And look, Alfredo, according to Hugo, Hugo Pescador, he says that Benfica gets the winner of Braga, Porto gets Sporting if Porto advances.
So he just went against.
I wouldn't trust anything Hugo says, but
Dave.
Sometimes he gets right. So
he just went against what Dave looked up. I don't know. So Dave, I don't know if you wrong or Hugo's wrong. Right?
It could be 0-0 doesn't have anything posted, but that could be because the other games haven't been played yet. But
no, and
might be right.
I think there's not. Apparently, I was listening to the Gelat on my way on my way home today, and even the Gelat guys were saying that the new format nobody really knows what the rules are, and you can't find the rules, and it's just so typical for the Portuguese league and for what they've gotten us accustomed us to. So I don't know. Chico Marcelino maybe knows. Chico Marcelino, do they draw for the final? Chico Marcelino is going to be the tiebreaker. Chico, do they
No,
draw?
I trust
Hugo's
Hugo.
right.
Hugo's right? Okay,
And
Hugo's right.
there's a date. We will play January 8th against the winner of Guimarães
In Braga.
and Braga. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, so then the finals got to be 3 days later then.
on the 11th.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So last year was in the 20th, and like I said, like 20 something. This year's okay. But Hugo, like I said, Hugo once in a while gets it right. So
What is it? A broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Yeah.
yep. Bruno Alfredo,
Love you,
read some
Hugo.
of the comments real quick. Bruno Gil Rodriguez says, "What a difference the team is with Di Maria and Koksu." Kevin says the guys on Sport event went nuts with this goal, rightfully so. Diogo Rey says, "I'm just watching today's game now. How did Tony Silva do?" Bruno Gil Rodriguez, once again, I would like to see Di Maria bring Messi to watch a game at the Stade de Luz. And then Hugo said, Diogo, I told you this guy is an instigator. Diogo says, with all that we're saying here about the team, are we done with the Rui Costa hate? I mean, I don't know. Was there a lot of Rui Costa hate on this podcast? I think we've been kind of neutral.
Yeah, but
Kind of.
everybody's waiting for October. You know, I mean, we've October of next year. October of next year.
I was gonna say.
Look, I think the Rui Costa thing. We've spoken about how we feel about Rui Costa, about some of the moves that he's made, about some of the decisions that he's made. You know, so I think right now it's not the time to beat a dead horse. You guys all know how we feel about Rui Costa and whether or not he's capable of being a president of a club such as of Benfica's magnitude. You know, that's the biggest question. You know, I don't think anybody can question his Benfiquismo and his dedication to the club. Now, is he president and leadership material? That's a different question altogether. I mean, the things that Luis Felipe Vieira have said, not only Luis Felipe Vieira, but other people have said about him in terms of, you know, he was just a guy that would chill in his office and smoke cigarettes in the balcony, and you know, it was just a guy that was just a figurehead. He wasn't really involved in many decisions. Wasn't aware of apparently, according to him, wasn't aware of anything that was going on. You know, just signed documents without even knowing what he was signing. So there's a lot of questionable things. I mean, he's a guy that doesn't necessarily have I don't think he does, an MBA, right? A degree in business administration to kind of lead a club or lead a SAD, right? So it is what it is. When October rolls around, I'm sure there'll be more candidates, and you know, at that time we'll see where the club is at and where Rui Costa is in the fans' heads. I think that's what it is. But for now, yeah, when you're winning, you know, there's not a lot of criticism that's thrown at the coach, at the president that decided to keep the coach. I think that once Lage was appointed, I think that everybody needed to get behind Lage, whether or not he was people's first choice or second choice or third choice. I think at this point, you know, you just kind of need to support the guy, and he's worked hard to bring the fans together and unify the fans. And I think that the fan base is better today than what it was before Lage came along. I think that's palpable. I think we could all feel that. Chico Marcelino says the problem is not just Rui Costa, but also the team that is 70% the same as Vieira. Yeah, still got a lot of guys. Chico Marcelino, yeah, Chico, you're a little bit late to the party. Am I the only one that thinks that Pavlidis is a bit trapalhão? Yes,
Nope, you're not. No, you're not.
Both Chris and I use that word already. Dave, stats on this Santa Clara game, do you have, so we can move on?
Yeah, Pavlidis returned to the score sheet since September with 2 goals and an assist in 23 minutes of work off the bench there. So,
Yep.
like we said previously, hopefully we get this gets him going, and it's more to come from our striker up top there.
Yep. Up next, we have Ferenc. Ferenc is on Saturday at Ferenc in Algarve, 6 p.m. local. What's Ferenc up to this season, Dave?
They're currently in last with only 4 points through the first 9 games of the season. 1 win, 1 draw, 7 defeats. Historically, 37 wins, 12 draws, 6 defeats. Last 10, 7 wins, 3 draws, and last 5 in the Algarve, 3 wins and 2 draws.
Yeah. Worst offense in the league. Have only scored 3 goals through the first 9 rounds. So it's a team that's struggling. But understanding that Bayern is on Wednesday, Chris, do you see this as a trap game for Benfica?
Which game?
The Ferenc game.
Nah, it's a game that Benfica has shown that, vai dar uma cabazada 4-0, game that they're going to win. And I understand the whole Bayern stuff, but I think Benfica in the league against these Bancos, I think they got them covered. Obviously, you have to worry about such things, but I think they'll handle them. I think they'll be more than capable, more than ready to perform in the game.
But it smells of a trap game for me.
Nah, not at all. I don't. To me, it don't. But I respect it.
The trap game already happened against Feyenoord. I think we can't. That woke us up that we can't just rest and put it in cruise control there. So I think the trap games already occurred here because don't look too far past this Ferenc and Bayern game because we got Porto around the corner too. So
yeah, it's a bit of an interesting cycle that we have coming on, Dave. Do you have those games in front of you? So it's Ferenc, Bayern, then we got Porto.
We got Porto, I believe, on the 10th of November. Just loading it up here. Then after that, we've got Estrela for the Taça after an international break on the 23rd. Monaco away on the 27th. And then we're into December there against Oroca there for the league on the 1st of December.
So it's an interesting cycle that we're about to approach the Bayern game. Obviously going to Munich to play Bayern. It's going to be it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky, and I don't think that Benfica, regardless of the improvements that we've made under Lage, I don't think Benfica has shown me yet a level that can compete with this Bayern. But hey, I think that sometimes Lage likes that underdog role because he's a coach that does a lot of studying, does his homework, watches a lot of film. So maybe he will have a strategy prepared for Bayern, which is what I hope. So we'll see. But it's I see this Ferenc game as a tricky game, but I hope that as you mentioned, Dave, with Feyenoord being something where I think the team went into it with a little bit lack of focus and ended up paying for it in a game that we should have won at Stade Luge. I think that hopefully we learned the lesson from that, and this Ferenc game we just need to go in there and uma cabazada das antigas against a last place team that has 1 win and 1 tie out of 9 rounds of football in the Portuguese league. What else? What else can we talk about?
I think in the league, I'll tell you what to talk about.
Go ahead.
As I said before, I don't think it's a trap game. I think in the league, Lage will have these guys ready to play. Not only because Benfica don't have any margin for error, but also because there's going to be a change at the helm, at the coaching position, with the team in first place. So right now, things are wide open. The Campeonato is there to be had. Benfica has to handle their business. I think the boys will be up for it. Now, the Bayern game's a totally different monster. You know what I'm saying? That to me, Benfica in their best days, it's still going to be a very tough game for them. But in terms of domestically, I think they know they can't drop any more points. Lage just come over with this new mentality of trying to change some of the things he did wrong in his first time around. I think he'll have the guys ready to rock and roll. We'll see what happens. But that whole scenario, the whole situation at our rivals across town will definitely motivate some of these guys. Make things a little bit more. What's the word? The players will start to believe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because Sporting has been on a roll. Say what you want, but now, hey, there's a possibility that things might not be going as well as they've been going for them. Hey, players will be very excited for those prospects.
Things, and I know that we don't have to get into depth into this, but it's certainly something that changes the landscape of the league, which is Ruben Amorim leaving. It hasn't been official, but everything points that they're just hammering out the little details and when he's going to depart. One of Ineos's big bosses has confirmed that he is going to be Manchester United's next manager, and I think Ineos owns part of Manchester United, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They took over last year.
Yeah,
they bought a big chunk of stock and stuff.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of timing and getting everything hammered out. I don't know if Cristiano has any insight in terms of when he's going to be traveling and when he's going to be leaving. But certainly it's something that changes the landscape, right? Because Sporting has been so dominant. But the biggest question is going to be they're so well drilled, and the style, regardless of whether you put A, B, or C, it seems that they always play the same manner. But when you lose a leader in a locker room in the shape of a coach, obviously, and also a guy that is that's a good communicator, that knows how to handle the press and has his own style of handling the press and neutralizing some of the press. So we'll see how how Sporting turns out, whether they fall apart or if whoever they bring in decide to say, hey, we're not going to change anything. We're just going to keep going, and hopefully the players continue to believe in the coach. And well, not hopefully. I'm hoping not. As a Benfiquista and any other club in the league, right? But we'll see. It is something that's going to change the landscape, and we're so accustomed to Sporting happening at the end of December. Maybe this is the catalyst for something like that happening. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it's definitely going to change the landscape of the league, if you will. Cristiano, any thoughts on that? On Ruben Amorim?
I already said it.
Yeah.
I said that the change at the top. They'll most likely. We don't know if the guys will be able. Whoever the new coach is, I believe it's going to be João Pereira. I don't know if he has the know-how to keep things going, but due to the fact that there's a change, there will be a belief in the room that these guys are there to be had. You know what I mean? Even if it's not happening, it's still something that the coach can use as motivation and stuff, and get these guys to keep believing and working hard to obtain their goals. So, it's look, I don't really pay much attention to those guys, right? But there's going to be a change, whether it's positive or negative, but there's going to be a change at the club, and again, things will be interesting coming down the line. Benfica just has to continue winning their games, worried about what they can control, and cabeza abajo and keep working hard.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we got for you guys. Next week we'll be back on Wednesday again because Benfica plays Bayern on Wednesday. So we'll come to you after that. Dave won't be with us next week. He's taking some time off. I told Dave, you got to take time off or else you're gonna lose. You're not gonna get paid for your vacation before the year is out. So the
vacation doesn't bank over to the new year.
That's right.
So.
that's
taking the international break
that
a week early.
yeah, that might work in Canada, but it doesn't work here in the United States. No shit is rolling. You take it, you take it or you lose it. Anyway, thanks everyone. Thank you for all the Freddies that joined us today. Everybody pretty active in the chat. We appreciate you keeping us company and keeping us entertained. And thank you so much. We'll see you again next week. Take care, everyone.